What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Paintball Lounge, where I have Dylan Jones and it's Brianna. How you say your name? Oh, BZ.
It's Brennan Zahn,
Brandon.
man.
Brandon's on. Yeah, I know. I had to make it laugh. I gotta make it
Yeah,
laugh.
Yeah, we
we
saw the sign,
we saw the sign that said Diane and Brianna.
Diane and Brianna.
Yeah. Hey, I had to make someone laugh, so that's part of
That's fun.
the fun. So, if y'all don't know who these guys are, they are now the new coaches for Guerrilla Warfare, which locally in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a brand y'all are a brand new team, right?
Yes, yes. We
So,
have some vets, but as far as Gorilla goes, yes, we are the new installment at Gorilla. Yes.
hey, that's amazing. I mean, Guerrilla, I remember playing them back in King of the South, and they were kicking my ass, getting first place and everything. But welcome to the show, my friends.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thanks
much.
for having us, man.
Thanks for having us, bud.
So let's get down to business. What? How long y'all been in the sport? Because I know y'all been probably are veterans without a doubt.
I've been playing paintball since 1994. Started playing speedball. I think in 2001. I believe so. I believe that's when it was in a tournament at LAX 3-man with my mentor Emery Tumulty and a guy named CJ. They were kind of an offshoot from the regulators from PBC. So yeah.
Oh, and
I'd say probably I started in 2000. I had a cousin of mine, Andrew Macalusa. He actually kind of talked me into it one time. Him and a buddy of mine, Ryan O'Gwen, and just started shooting at my cousin's house, man. And that kind of really lit the fire, and loved it ever since. And then when I was 15, I started working at the fun farm, and one of the owners there, Jerry Hubinger, it's like, hey man, opening up a field if you want to be a ref. So I started refing there, and then he said, man, what else do we need to do? I said, I think you need to do an airball field. So he opened up an airball field there, and it was all X ball. And I had played speedball once before, where Woody and Jesse, Woody from Gunfighter actually opened it up. It was called Dixie Storm, and that was the first time I ever played. It was out in Franklinton, and man, I loved it. I played speedball. I mean, woods ball a lot. I played it like Southern Wildfire and stuff like that back in the day with my cousin. But man, speedball was just a whole different animal, and I loved the adrenaline and how fast paced everything was.
mm-hmm.
And man, when we opened up at the Fun Farm, I want to say probably like 2001, 2002. I want to say 2002. That's where Dylan and I met. He was playing for Team Zero, and he kind of took me under his wing, and kind of went from there, man. Met him again at PBC when I was with my cousin and my buddy, and was like shooting a spider shutter at the time. And he's like, hey man, come run a point with us. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm looking at him, and they're making these calls talking about where they're gonna go. And I'm like, hey man, I'm like 15 years old. I'm like, where you want me to go? And he's like, go to that X right there off a break. And I'm like, okay. And man, that just put more gas on the fire right there, dude. And I loved it ever since, and been running with him ever since, man. So I would say I started competing, playing in 2000. I started competing in 2006 when I played D3X ball for Adrenaline X, and been on and off really since '06 till now, man.
Hey, I mean, so you had to go in the middle of the big giant X, right?
Yeah, yeah, I miss
It's
it, dude.
hard. It's
I
hard.
I miss those bunkers, man. I miss the Giant X. I miss the mini X's on the corners and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I truly miss those bunkers, man. That was great. That was back then. That was great paintball. That was a whole different animal back then than it is today.
Right, because nowadays you don't see the giant X, or nowadays they substitute it with like different designs, like having a snake beam in the middle, looking like a
Yeah,
diamond head, or
Yeah.
I know some.
A.
I think like what some some places do the car wash, and I remember
Yeah.
the car wash. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's
I think they're still using that for USXBL, though, aren't they?
the best way that I can compare the
Not
sport
really.
nowadays is back then it was kind of like like the old Chicago Bull days, and now you got these newer basketball players and stuff like that. It's just the competitiveness and just the way that the game is played, man. It's just it was a whole lot more brutal back then than it is now.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, 15 balls a second.
Oh god.
Yeah, playing Snake. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
playing Snake that was rough because back then I was a Snake player. So most of the time, their main goal was hey, we got to get Snake out first. So if you got 3 or 4 guys shooting 15 balls per second and they're all shooting at you, that's a lot of paint in the air.
Not just that, it's also because like I still watch, even though I didn't start playing it till like 2011, and I was just playing, rec ball and everything. But I will watch like back in the day, like '06, like y'all said, '06, or even fewer year back then, y'all were shooting 15 balls a second, and I'm like, here I am, this kid, and I'm like watching y'all trying to get to the bunkers, and y'all were not trying to get there just to like play the game. Y'all were just trying to get there to be like, I'm gonna try to get there. I'm not gonna worry about anything else. I just want to get to my bunker.
Yeah, I just want to stay alive long enough to make it there, and then we'll figure it out from there.
I don't think I'll ever. I mean, if I ever get the experience of what it feels like getting, shot at 15 balls per second, maybe one day. But I'm okay where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and you can definitely hear.
I appreciate it a lot more too. 10.2, the stream isn't. I mean, you're not putting 40 balls in the air, so when you get shot, you're actually catching 13 or 15, and now you're catching 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4.
You can definitely hear a huge difference between the 10 and the 15, without a doubt.
It's like a chainsaw.
Oh yeah, and it's like, and you're also when you actually get in the bunker and you know where you get shot at when you shooting 10 balls per second, because you're gonna be like, oh, I got shot on the Snake side or the real side. Probably when y'all were doing 15 balls per second, you don't know where you got shot at. You're like, who shot you? I don't know.
Well, back then too, the only issue is that it was sideline coaching. So, a lot of times, like especially when I was at World Cup, man, I would bust my ass to go to a Snake. I'd get in a Snake, and then all of a sudden there's sideline coaching, and these guys are going, he's right here. He's right here. I mean, as you're moving, they're following you. And you're just kind of like, you SOB, like, come on, dude, really?
It had its advantages and disadvantages.
It did.
For a guy who could coach, for somebody who knew how to coach and how to joystick his players, which it was good for us. We did well in those types of tournaments. Yeah.
I will say that I do like the 10 a lot because it's more strategic. A lot of people are like, oh, there's strategy in paintball. Yeah, absolutely. If you learn to play the game, 100% there is. It's a lot of people just think you're just running out there and you're shooting. And yeah, I mean, it looks like that to the spectators, but for a lot of people that play the game, you're not.
No, it's more like, the way it is now is that it's still hard to read it. I mean, people still don't understand, like, from back then, it was really hard to understand it, like who got shot, who, like, understand the sport, because like, media don't understand it. But now it's like, I think it's a little bit more like people can understand it if they focus really closely.
And the longer the game goes on, as we were kind of talking about generationally, the kids now, they pick it up so fast. And I really enjoy working with the kids. We've always had a kids team. At Guerilla, we had 2 or 3 kids out there. I think we had a little boy out there. His name was Rylan, and he's 8.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and he was out there shooting with us. We had a blast, man. We really did. I got in these with him, and told him that was Beckham. Got into these with him, and they're like, man, he's never moved up like that. And I was like, trust me, that's going to be happening a lot more, because he has a serious advantage. He doesn't have to bend down in any bunker whatsoever, even the pin. So, that's pretty cool. That's probably one of my crowning achievements, was to take the kids from the armory. I think our youngest kid was 11 Hunter Boyd, and we went and we played in the USXBL and we did really well. We took what, fourth out of 32, I think. It was like fourth with little kids playing against grown men, and now they have a kids league, which is I think even more fantastic. But at that point, it didn't exist, so everybody would crowd around just to watch the kids, and
Yeah.
it
So,
was awesome.
so Dylan, what got you into this glorious sport that we all play and we waste time and money on?
Well, all right. Well, God, the time and the money. Holy. Well, I will tell you. I was I was going with a friend of mine named Jason Fogarino, and a real good friend of mine. We worked at UPS together. And Drew Bankston and I were both part-time supervisors at UPS, and we talk on the phone at night, and we talk about paintball. And he was like, "Hey, man, you need to come out to one of these tournaments." And I said, "Okay, whatever." And I was a runner. I was a serious runner in college, and we pulled up, and he knew Emery and another guy, and their third guy, they're playing threes on the hyperball field, and he had broken down, and they didn't have a third. So I had about 4.5 feet of hair, a bone through my nose, uh, just a young punk in college, whatever. And he was like, "Hey man, this guy's really fast." He's like, he's fast, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Whoa, I'm not playing." I was in a collared shirt and some shorts, and he was like, "Come on, man, play." I was like, "Oh, all right. What do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Just run down the field and shoot people." And we were playing on the hyperball field, and so I heard go, and I shot the first guy, ran past the second guy, shot him, and then as the guy was getting into his bunker all the way on the other side of the field, I shot him too. And it was about 8 seconds long. The guy threw his gun in there and screamed because I scared him so bad, and I shot him. And I was like, "Is that good?" And they're like, there was like a low whistle on the side of the field. Well, that worked one time. The second time, not so much. I got my ass shot off. So after that, I was in, man. I was like, oh, I want to do this. And then yeah, man, I started playing a lot. And then we were with a I was with a team zero for a long time,
Hmm.
and then we were coming back from a tournament, and I saw this place called the Fun Farm, and it said paintball on it. So I walked in and I talked to Jerry, and I told him he was asking me questions about airball. I'm like, "Hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to order." I said, "And there's going to be a lot of people coming if you get an airball field here." And so that's when I met B and Shay, and started training those guys. And man, they were badass little punks. They were punks, man. They were terrible kids, but I loved every one of them because man, they just showed up and played paintball, and the rest is history. Yeah. So
Shoot. So we're getting a lot of comments about this one, especially Jeremy. I know y'all know Jeremy back in the green room. Y'all know Jeremy from smoke and everything. But
oh,
he asked this: how much y'all miss Destiny Nola? What's the story about that?
So I I can't really for me I can't really say that I missed the name. I don't really choose the names or anything like that. But I miss my boys. I do. I miss Big Germ. Love him to death, dude. One of my partners. Love him to death. I love Adrian. Love shooting with Adrian. Me and Adrian have had a lot of one-on-one talks. We definitely the tournament that we had in Texas. Um, if he's watching, he'll know what I'm talking about. He and I
He's
kind of
probably
walked
is.
off. We kind of walked off together, and I talked to him, and because he was kind of down, and I said, "Hey, bro, shake that shit off because don't take it to the next one.
Right.
Don't worry about it."
yeah. As far as for me, Destiny was it was definitely a window of opportunity. I
Hmm.
would say that because not only did I coach uh, our team that was with Phil's, which I would say those guys, out of all the teams that we put together, Brennan and I, uh, that was probably the most talented team that I ever coached. They
Yeah.
were fast. Everybody hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had a lot of speed, man.
Yeah.
Another guy we're missing is Ian.
Ian Whibley,
Whibley.
a machine.
He's-
I watched Ian Whibley play 32 rounds of X ball. We had to carry him off the field because he was cramping, but that
Yeah,
kid had no quit.
I
No
had
quit.
him on one side, and I had Adrian on the other, and
And Sweet Nicky.
and then like my brother. I got a brother of mine that plays with me, and he's in his early 20s, and he's fast.
Yeah.
Does he
And
still play?
Guys who could move.
do what?
Does he still play?
Oh yeah. He
he's on
he
the
shoots with me. He's not as fast as me, but he's fast.
Ooh.
And no, he's quick, man, and he's really good. His name's Briar, and
we call him Jelly though.
and
Yeah.
he's
Because he sticks.
he's super good player. He's actually as he's coming up in the game, he's actually getting smart. He's getting a lot smarter on the field because I listen a lot of times too because I play more than anything. He's mainly the head coach,
Mhm.
and a lot of times when we're at practice, we are when I'm playing, but I'm also I'm watching these guys too, and I'm listening
Mhm.
to them, you know, and my brother's communication has gotten really good over the years.
But I
Really
will
has.
say this about Destiny: it did open a window of opportunity. I got to coach with Bea Young Paxton out in California. Fantastic person, and she got me to coach their girls team for Destiny, and that was an amazing experience for me. We did really well.
Whoa. There was a Louisiana girls team.
No, they were out of they were
No,
they were a conglomerate of Destiny.
it was part of the whole Destiny.
Okay,
Thing.
I was about to say, I'm
Plan
like,
thing,
I knew
yeah.
that Haley was playing at Destiny.
Yes.
Yeah,
I coached
That
her.
one. Okay, I was about to
Yeah,
say, I'm
yeah.
like, wait, what? And I didn't know
Yeah.
about this shit.
Jeremy will probably chime in, but he knows how I feel. He knows how I feel about him.
But
He'll tell you all about it when we went to Texas. He knows.
yeah, but I got
Like-
to coach Haley. She's a phenomenal paintball player.
Oh yeah,
Really.
without a doubt. I had her on the show, and she's the sweetest person.
She
She's the
is, and
sweetest.
I love her gun. The Lilo and Stitch gun is phenomenal. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, man. That was Destiny was a solid factory team. They had a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
And
She's
even
not
if
the
you
only
go
one.
to a tournament today, there are probably about 5 or 6 Destiny teams playing in that
Right.
tournament. Yeah.
Honestly, to me, the whole Destiny thing, I understand. It's like it's catchy. It's very catchy
It is.
because it's people can use it a lot, but sometimes it can get a little overused in
Yeah.
my book, and that's I don't hate Destiny NOLA at all for what the teams that the players that were playing for it and how good they were, because I still remember them.
Yeah.
Like when they were playing it.
Yeah. Those guys can ball, man.
Yeah,
For
they
sure.
can ball, without a doubt. They
Yeah.
can ball. But it does suck that Destiny NOLA did, when they broke out. Like, what did they break up? If y'all know.
Man,
I would say mitigating factors. A lot of different reasons for a lot of different people.
It's hard to say, man.
Yeah.
I don't really know the true story because
Mhm.
I was pretty close to. I mean, like, man, I didn't like hang out with all the boys and stuff like that outside of paintball just because I live on the North Shore, they live on the South Shore and stuff like
Right.
that. It still doesn't really make an excuse, but we just had our different lives and stuff like that. We weren't ever really able to just like, hey, let's hang out outside of ball and stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, man, I feel like sometimes, man, that's just Louisiana ball, dude. It's like guys will play tournaments for a while
And then they leave.
and then they just split. I don't know why it's like that in this state. I really don't, man. It's just I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Paintball is an expensive sport. It is.
Oh yeah.
And that's a huge thing, and to ask a person with a regular job with kids to sacrifice so much of that time, I think that is probably the number one reason is that these guys have families. They have to make money, and paintball, I mean, it's not like soccer where you can just use a ball and you're not going to spend any money.
Right.
You're going to spend money. You have to pay for these tournaments. I mean, the road trips are expensive, and you really have to have an understanding family in order for you just to be able to play paintball, much. Play tournament ball, So
Oh yeah,
I
without a
think that's a
doubt.
big factor.
I can definitely relate. I mean, these two things here are the old teams I used to have, like aces and eights. I don't have the jersey no more, but I have the shirt of it, and I had the 13 dogs, and it's still expensive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's right, even Louisiana paintball, like the local tournaments, it's was still expensive, and it still
Yeah.
is. So I
And
get
I would
that.
say that is the monetary mixed in with not just that. I mean, some guys fit in better with other teams. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah,
just do. I mean, and it's you try to find a family that works together and that does well, not only on the field but off the field. That's really important to have that team dichotomy. That's like, I mean, what the the Hurricanes have been playing together for almost 20 years. It's got to be close to 20 at
Well,
this point.
friend wise,
Friend
yeah,
wise, 20 years.
yeah,
a lot of the guys come from Rocket
Yeah,
without a doubt. I
yeah.
mean, Maddie, their coach, Maddie was with them. I mean, they all played for Rocket together.
I mean, I remember when Stuart
oh.
Richard's voice sounded like a whistle. He was
I didn't see video of that shit.
Yeah.
Shout
That's
out to
just
you,
like
Stu.
with
I love Stuart.
with Lil C Wright. Lil C Wright's brother, Big C Wright.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
they played
Both
he
fantastic paintball players.
he played for Rocket.
Yeah.
So I mean that they've all been knowing each other for a very long time,
And
without a
Right.
doubt.
we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I mean we've all known them for
you know,
quite
but
some
we've been
time.
but us as a group, as a family, Shay
Mhm.
Verbois, Virgil Vess, uh, uh, Nick Bourne,
Yeah.
those guys, we've all been together for a long time, and just as a family, hey, we hang out together, we get together and BS or whatever. It doesn't necessarily all have to be about paintball,
Right.
but so
Oh yeah. That's how you grow not just a team, but a strong brotherhood. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
y'all do stuff without the sport of paintball, like go have a beer or go have a crawfish
Right.
boil or whatever.
right.
You know.
And we do that well in the South
Oh yeah,
compared.
without a doubt. Without
Yeah,
a doubt. Shoot.
yeah.
But
I played in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for about a decade, and so I would go over to Aftershocks Field and play. And that, I don't get me wrong, those guys were really good ball players, but
mhm,
they didn't invite you in like, say, a team would from Louisiana or Texas to just, hey man, you want to shoot, you know? Because
right.
they'd be like, hey, who's this guy? We don't know if he's, or it's kind of that inside outside click thing, with
Mhm,
which happens to a lot of paintball teams, but that's, I guess, part of it.
right.
Anyway,
So the next thing is this, like, since y'all are now the new coaches of Guerrilla, how did that start out? Like, because I did not know Guerrilla Warfare needed like new coaches or anything. I thought they
Well,
would disband. I really thought they'd disband.
so so in a way they did. So a while back, I was talking with my buddy Shaver Boyce. He's on the team, and my buddy Blaine Monaster, and I just ran into him in downtown Hammond one time, and they were like, "Man, we ought to start playing ball, blah blah blah." And I was still running with Destiny, but Destiny, after the Texas tournament that we had, we were kind of like fanning out a little bit. So anyway, long story short, I'm like, okay, yeah. So I just had it in the back of my mind. So a couple months go by, and I called Dylan up, and I'm like, man, I'm like, dude, I said, why don't we start running something at Guerrilla? I said, Justin really doesn't have any speedball much over there anymore. He's doing woods and hyperball and parties and stuff like that. I said, why don't we try to bring it back for him? Let's try to do that. And he's like, he was kind of silent for a little while, and he was like, okay, let's do it, dude. He said, another round with you, let's go. And I said, all right, man. I said, let's do it. He said, I'm gonna have you as captain. He said, I know you're gonna be playing. He said, so you got to find the players. And I was like, well damn, like,
Well,
all right.
okay.
So I started hitting up some of the old heads. Again, and I'm like, hey, bro, y'all want to start shooting again? This is what we're going to be doing. And some of the guys that Justin knew, Justin collaborated some of them with us, and we started merging. And we've started practicing. We've had 4 practices so far, and Justin, I love him to death. He's got a lot of confidence. He's got a lot of confidence right now. We're still just, some of us are working on communications with some of the guys. I will say there's probably 4 or 5 of us that could be tournament ready, but at the same time, it's because it's came with experience. But at the same time, too, we still got a lot of rust too, because the first thing that we lose is accuracy. So,
well, okay. So my take on it, I suppose, I have been attempting to create. I have a paintball field out in Gonzales. I bought 5 acres off of Airline Highway. It used to be in the 70s. It was a very popular tennis court place, but so I bought it and was trying to. I hope that's not something. You got it. I don't know what that is. And I was working on the field, and I kept getting sick. Actually, that's why I've been out of paintball for the last 3 years, because I found out that I was mowing the grass. I was on my tractor, and I got really sick, and I fell off and I passed out. My mom found me, and there's a hospital right around the corner. And so, yeah, and then I found out I was diabetic. And
oh, dude, man, that's
yeah, it was, and it stopped me in my tracks. And I had really, the field is still waiting for me to finish it. I still have a jelly ball business that I run out of Baton Rouge, that I'm fixing to start back up again this year. But then Justin contacted me. Justin I would comment on a Facebook paintball thing, and he'd be like, "Come over here and build a new team over here." And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not really interested. I'm trying to do my own thing." And then he was like, "Dude, you have to come over here. We have to do this." And I said, "I'll tell you what, we'll talk about it. Let's talk logistics. Let's get that down." And then I will say one thing about me coaching and all the guys that I've coached in the past. I think I've coached I think it's over 200 guys at this point. And I'm a draw. That's one thing. When I come to a field, I have guys that normally follow me, especially this guy. We've been together for years. If you're getting Dylan Jones,
he's your ride and die.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're getting Dylan Jones, you're going to get Brennan Zahn too. So whether you love him or hate, he's coming to the field. So you're just going to have to deal with that. And so some of the other guys, Virgil got back in touch with me as soon as I announced that I was going to be coaching for Guerilla. We had about 5 or 6 guys announce, "Hey, man, are you seriously going to do this?" And Justin's been really excited. I'm really happy to see that he's excited about it. And our new guys, they have some talent. That it has to be owned, of course, and because they are new. But I believe I just want to create an atmosphere at Guerilla of paintball, about paintball. Even if you're not on the team, come out and shoot. That's what I want to create.
Yeah, we need something in Baton Rouge, man, because the only other thing that we have is, LAX.
Or PVC, or, some of those guys out there, But yeah, man, and it's been interesting for sure. Trying to get everything up to par, get the field up to par, and just be tournament ready is going to probably take about another 6 months before I would say we're tournament ready.
Yeah.
Right.
for sure. We do have some exceedingly talented people on our team. Cam is very talented, one of our new guys, and we got a guy named Hunter. Played professional baseball. He's been playing 2 months, and he moves like a cat. I mean, he's picking up. He's just easily coachable. One of those guys. So
Okay.
we got Sweet Nicky coming back, and if you ever hear me say Sweet Nicky, that's Nick Bourne. That's his
Okay.
nickname.
I'm like, who is Sweet Nicky? Like that just.
Okay, so funny story about Nick. We were on our way to Texas one time, and I called him Sweet Nicky, and he didn't know what that meant. I said, "Well, it's a Prince song, and it's about sex, of course." I was like, "Sweet Nicky Ride," and that's what it's called. That's the name of the song. So I started calling him Sweet Nicky, and it just caught on after everybody found out.
We all have nicknames. Well, yeah, he's given us all nicknames.
Everyone. So.
Oh no, that's you got
like everybody that knows me, they call me BZ, but he doesn't call me BZ. So he has nicknames for everybody.
Yeah, you got one named Jelly, one named Sweet Nicky. I mean,
yeah.
I had a guy like,
yeah.
What's next? Roll.
Yeah, dude, there's some good ones. You know, we got Ice and Nightcrawler.
Oh my god.
He's the Nightcrawler, and I'm Wolverine. That was because he plays east to west very well, and when I play north and south very quickly, and I like to be about a bunker away from you. When I like that fight, that close quarters fight. That's the way I played, and it's aggressive. I got shot a lot, but I shot a lot of people.
I always try to lose my opponents. That's why he called me Nightcrawler.
Yeah. So
okay. I mean,
7 out of 10 times it would work. 60% of the time it works every time.
But no, I actually like what you said. You want to create an atmosphere for Baton Rouge paintball, and honestly, right. I can relate to that because that's the goal that I want to do, like for all Louisiana paintball and just in general. And that's why, that's why I did this, because you don't get a lot of people who just show the these places. Yeah. Like if you go onto any paintball, just to have a kid to watch paintball, they're watching like speedball. They're watching like a speedball that's like, or a rec ball that's like what, down in California or a different state, and it's a big event. And when they go there, they're like, I spent all this money for this one time. I want to see if there's a local field. Well, that's why I want to do it for Louisiana paintball. It's like I want to get people to play more so they can grow and play for a speedball, or they just play as woods ball. But it's growing the community in general, because we're expensive sport, but we're a very small community, very small.
I wish that this sport in this state would have grown like it did in Texas, because I feel like Drew and Justin, as well as a lot of other guys, I feel like they would succeed even more, in this sport. And I've never understood that in my 25 years of playing. I've never understood why this state never really has exceeded as far as other states between Florida, Texas, California, some of the northern states. It's just, I've never understood that. I don't know why.
Right. I mean, I don't understand it either. And it's kind of like, I guess you could say it's like one of those questions that sits in the back of your mind, like the why question. Like, why hasn't it grown as these big, states and everything? And honestly, to me, I feel like it's because, we're a boot state. I mean, we're very small. And I think it's also because some people are in fear. Some people are in fear of, because what the media likes to say, especially Louisiana, because, and it's like, come on, really? We have crime and all that, but who doesn't? but
Yeah.
we're trying to show y'all like, hey, this is something y'all could do with your kids or your girlfriend or
And I can let these kids know right now that, if some of these kids are watching, you don't have to be an athlete.
no.
You don't. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the tallest. It as far as athleticisms go, being an athlete or being the best shooter, best snapper, any of that, it in this sport most of the time, does that help a little bit? Absolutely, but it just takes one ball, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
without a doubt.
And as far as body types go, I mean, we've had guys that were pushing, 280, and they could shoot.
Yeah, so I don't want if kids are watching, I don't want them to feel like they're intimidated in the sport because you don't have to be. That's for
No.
sure.
I mean, look at me. I'm literally not the fastest guy, and everybody in the chat probably will tell you I am not the fastest guy. But what I bring on the table is this: I'm a loudmouth, so I communicate like ridiculously. But I'm not gonna let someone to like some kid who wants to play. If they want to play, I'm gonna say, hey, let this kid play. Let them play because in the end, they're the next generation.
Yeah,
they're
gonna.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that is something that I can say that as a coach that I have done very well at. I remember, and we were down at Phil's, and they had this guy sitting on the sideline, and his name was Corey Lee, phenomenal paintball player, great player, and he was just sitting there, and I'm like, hey man, you want to get some spins? And he was like, sure, coach. I said, well, get in there and show me what you got. And he got in there, comes off the block, dives in the snake, takes 3, comes up, comes back and says, I'm sorry I got shot, coach. And I'm like, man, you just took 3 guys. I said, I don't care if you got shot, and he had been sitting on the sideline all day, so, as a coach and as just a person, every time I see that kid or somebody that's standing over on the other side of the net, hey, come in and shoot, man. Come in and shoot. Not all fields do that. Not all people do that because sometimes paintball can be very exclusive to the guys who are playing, especially if there's a team practice going on, But sometimes that's when you find some of your best talent is in the guys who aren't shooting,
Yep.
And that was very true. That's been very true probably my whole career as a coach to try to influence people to get out there and do it.
And I agree 100%. Like, and that's what it kind of sucks is that, we, after the pandemic and everything, now we start to get more tournaments like localized and everything. And now like maybe 2023 or a couple of years, they start to go down. Like, no, there's not a lot of local tournaments around anymore. And it does kind of suck because like y'all said, we have talents that are not shooting that can bring out the best. And it's just shocking. It's just
we don't have enough fields either, man.
No.
That's what's sad.
Yeah, we don't have enough fields. We don't have enough, tournaments. So these people who bought the gear and everything, and they want to show off their skills, so they will learn, and it sucks.
I mean, what like Drew's last major tournament Drew had was Mardi Gras, I think.
Yeah,
was
I think
the biggest one.
Yeah,
I don't think
not the biggest, but I mean, I want to say one of the last major tournaments that he had was Mardi Gras. I could be wrong. on that. I don't remember. And
actually,
I know like Justin was the Guerilla Warfare, the Guerilla tournament that Justin had, before that. And I mean, other than that, I really don't know as far as locally for me. I don't remember if there was something.
The one tournament that was actually big, at LAS was Bunkerfest, but
great.
Yeah,
great stuff. Love Bunkerfest.
Yeah. Which I thought that was Mardi Gras, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Mardi Gras. I still had the badge for it.
Yeah, cool.
But no, the last tournament I think ever, if I'm probably wrong about it, but I think it was the King of the South.
Maybe so. I think I saw something on Facebook about that.
Yeah, I think King of the South.
I think it was King of the South, and like I said, it kind of sucks because we get like these 1v1 tournaments like jousting and all that, but sometimes people don't want to play the jousting. They want to play with their teams, with their friends, and actually enjoy the sport and make memories.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one thing that we plan to bring back to Gorilla is those in-house tournaments. I love in-house tournaments. I love street ball tournaments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple different formats that you can play uh, that are just great for just the field, the guys that you have at your field. And if you can start generating those tournaments, then that creates interest into, hey man, look, you don't have to be on a team, just show up and we'll play some street ball.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll throw some names in a hat and go to it.
That's actually what we kind of talked to Justin about a while back, but we're gonna try to start doing that again. Is doing street ball and doing Friday Night Lights again, because I know Justin hosted that again.
Oh man, that's
fun. Really fun, man. Last time I did that,
that's going to be a big one for us because he does have lights.
Yeah,
I mean, that field is beautiful at night.
Yeah.
Really is. Without a doubt. If the lights were working.
Grass.
Yeah,
and the grass is nice. Don't get me wrong, I love turf, but turf is hot. Turf is hot, especially in Texas. Holy moly, it's hot.
Yeah, you're melting your cleats and all that.
Yeah, but so we're trying to do that. It's going to take some time, but I think this new start at Guerilla with this team is really it's going to be enjoyable. And as a coach, comparatively to the other times I've done this, I told Justin, I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to take my time. I want to get enough guys out. I want 30 guys out here who aren't on the team, like all the other guys that used to play for me. I got probably 5 or 6 of them coming out this weekend, and that generates interest, because the more you see it, the more you're going to go, they're doing something over there. Something's going on. Something's stirring, and I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy the beginning, so.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be fun, man.
Without a doubt. I mean, and Justin's actually getting a lot of attractions, and because he does text me and we do it, and
everybody, buddy.
Yeah, but he texts me. He tells me, "Man, you missed this player, this LSU player, and this LSU player." I literally text him like this: "Okay, that's it. When is LSU coming down?" I still have the text message because he's getting all this, this
variety.
The variety, yeah, and it's just what the fuck, and it's actually bringing out people who wants to play more and actually want to be on a sport,
which is great. I mean, I'm very thankful for what he's doing in his advertising because I mean that's kind of what we're striving for, man. We're trying to get the Baton Rouge area to just come out and just come ball, man, because it's one of the only it's the only area besides Lavina, but I mean it's one of the only areas in Baton Rouge to do it, and it's he's sitting on a great facility, man. If his facility was in Texas, oh dude, he would be killing it. He'd be killing it. He'd be creating 3 more fields without a doubt. And hopefully that happens for him one day, in the future, if we can get a lot of people to come out and start shooting.
And also I wanted to give a huge shout out to you and a sincere thank you for doing this podcast, man. You're making some waves. You are, and that is
you are.
Congratulations!
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's fantastic.
Nobody else in Louisiana is doing what you're doing.
Not at all.
So it's great.
Justin was like, "Hey, do you know Zach?" I said, "No, I don't know him." He's like, "Well, he wants you to do a podcast." Or Justin said, "I want you to do a podcast with him." I said, "Okay." And then I was like, "We're gonna sit down, and this guy's gonna interview us about paintball. How fucking cool is that? That's great, man." And it we have people in the channel, good friends of ours in the channel, that are watching and listening, and I just can't thank you enough for this, man. It's a fucking cool experience, And
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, this sport has saved my life from, you know, a lot of stuff I did in the past that I'm not proud of. And that's why I was like, you know what, why don't me and my girl was actually it was back in 2022, and my girl was like, we were going through like, you know, just chilling, you know, just bullshitting and everything. And something in my heart was like telling me like, hey, you know, what can I do to give back to the community? This wonderful sport that has got me out of like bad situations. And she said, why don't you start doing a podcast? And I'm like, what's a podcast? She's like, oh, it's just like a talk show. I'm like, I'm gonna have people coming over my house, sit in my house like strangers, and talk about the sport. No, no, no. You could do it's you could do it online because technology and that's that. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's give it a try. And I would not tell you of how many lists I went through of names that was bad.
Yeah.
It felt, I was like, I was with an old friend of mine. May he rest in peace. I miss him to this day, but I was not mistaken. He told me this: you're having a Stone Cold Steve Austin moment because of he went through the whole list of his names and everything. I went through the whole same thing with the podcast, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this is how he felt. Like this is exactly how they felt.
Well,
And
you know, I think that
It's only going to get better for you, man, because I've never really been like a big podcast guy. I've never really watched a
Mhm.
whole lot of them, but I can say this, man, over the years, man, you know, I mean, you're going to start out small naturally, but man, one of the guys that I mainly watch or listen to is Sean Ryan, and man, I mean, he started doing podcasts and interviews and stuff like that in his attic, and I mean, dude, he's doing phenomenal. Joe Rogan's doing phenomenal. So I mean, you know what I mean, dude? Just hey, keep doing your thing, bro. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
if
Keep
you
doing it.
start popping off like Joe Rogan, though, I better get an invite to the mansion, babe.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't think we can get that high, but if I do, I will definitely let you know. Trust me.
Thanks. Oh, but I wanted to say this. I think that without paintball, I think we all would have missed something for sure.
Oh yeah.
I know in my heart that as much time as time and energy that I put into it,
Yeah.
and my wife knows I live it. I mean, but I told her before, like before we got married, hey, I'm gonna do paintball. You know, I mean, I've had a couple of girlfriends in the past who were like, I can't take any more of this paintball shit. You got to get out. All right, fine, I'm out. And then I met my wife, and she's like, absolutely. If that's what you want to do with your life, then go do it. And so I'm fortunate enough to have a
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful
Same.
human being.
My wife loves watching us. She loves watching us shoot. I got an 8-year-old little boy. He's phenomenal with videoing and editing and adding music and cutting clips. I mean, he does it all
Yeah.
at 8 years old right now. And he told me the other day, he's like, man, I think I want to start playing paintball, Dad. And I'm like, oh man, awesome, dude. Like super awesome. Like I was ecstatic to hear that, you know. But yeah, my wife, she definitely she's always supported me in it, you know, for sure, and loves watching us shoot. And it's like Dylan says, you know, you know, with this sport, like you were saying too, it's, you know, for some of those guys that are getting up in age, like we're not playing baseball, we're not playing basketball anymore, we're not doing
Mm-mm.
any of those kind of things, you know. About the only thing else that I could do right now that if I wasn't playing ball is playing night league softball somewhere, you know. And I hardly even do that anymore. And this is the one sport that I have stuck with
Mm-hmm.
for so long, and I'm still able to do. And I love it, man. I mean, I have a lot of hobbies, but it's probably one of my favorite without a doubt.
Oh
It's
yeah,
probably my favorite.
I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
And the thing is my girl, she's probably still on here, and she's gonna hate me. I'm gonna get the slap of the world. But back on the green screen, I was telling y'all about, she my girlfriend's my rock star. I mean, I've been with her for 5 years. We just hit 5 years. Yeah. 5 years of being with this knucklehead, and she she supports what I'm doing 100%.
That's great.
And
It's important.
oh yeah, and she there was even times, and I remember this, when, and this is actually recently, when I told her that, hey, I'm gonna finish the story. I told her that I'm gonna finish the story. She did not hesitate. She told me, you better fucking take it. If you don't fucking take it, I will literally put you in the doghouse for fucking months with duct tape.
Ouch.
Because she and some people, Caesar knows her. Caesar remembers her. She's a little spitfire, so but she puts me on my tracks. And I
Where's she
love her.
from, Chalmette?
No, actually, she's from Gonzales. She's from Gonzales.
Ah,
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Gonzalez.
she's a little spitfire, but I love her to death. And um, but she told me to take it, so that's why I'm hoping I do get the chance to play World Cup and finish the story, and that way, she can stop hearing from me hearing about it because she gets so tired of it. But she also wants me to she wants me to be happy, and she knows that this sport makes me happy,
Yeah.
and she loves it. I think she only likes it because of the fact that she can get people to mess with me. I love it. But
Yeah, and that is actually one of my goals at Guerilla. One of my one of the things that I've never done is I've never coached a team at World Cup. I had a chance. I got a phone call from a team to. I used to run Mariners in Hammond. I don't know if you know where that is or what that is. Uh,
mm-mm.
but I was working there, and I couldn't get off. I couldn't get off work. So I called this little shit sitting next to me, and he was a little shit then. And I said, "Hey, you want to go to World Cup?" And I said, they
Me and Matt Trepanier.
yep, match brand, yeah. I said they got spots for you guys. Go down there and tear it up, and they did. And still to this day, I have not played in World Cup or coached in World Cup, and
It's super cool, man.
and
Like, dude, I was sitting in the stands, and we're just watching some of the pro teams, and
Mm.
just randomly, Troll comes up and he just sits next to me, which is Thomas Taylor. Thomas Taylor, he just randomly just comes sits next to me, and it's funny because he's always been one of my idols because I was a snake player for a long time, and I always looked up to him. He was so aggressive, and I loved it, man. And me and my boy Matt, we cut our hair into mohawks and shit like that, you know. We playing World Cup, and now I didn't. He might be watching. I ain't hit that Uber style. I didn't like paint it. I didn't paint it and rock that because I had a sandana on and stuff. But man, he just comes and sits next to me, you know, and it's so cool because a lot of professional sports you don't get that, you know,
No.
that doesn't happen to you. You don't get a Kobe Bryant, a Shaq, a MJ, you know, Steph, whoever. You don't get somebody to come sit by you while you're just in the stands, and
Oh,
you
no.
look at him and you go, "Hey, bro, what's up, Thomas? You doing all right?" And he's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And I'm starting to just shoot shit with him, and he's like, "Oh man, once you come up to Sacramento, sometimes come shoot with us." And I'm like, "What?" You know, it's crazy, man. The sport, and now, you know, with some of the guys with no, you know, with the Hurricanes and stuff, it's cool because you see that you get to shoot with some of them, and it's like, man, these guys are shooting with guys that we looked up to when we were younger, you know, and it's neat, man. It's just that's another thing that's really cool about the sport is you don't get to experience that with any other professional sport, but that one where you could just run
Mm-mm.
into guys and you're like, holy crap, man, you're such and such, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and
it's just awesome. It's
it
different.
is it is awesome because I had interviews with Joe
Yeah, I saw that
Barron,
with Tyler. I saw that with Tyler
Tyler,
Harvey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kudos on that, man.
that's
That
cool,
was
man.
awesome.
and Nick Soviak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool, man. That's what I'm saying. Keep doing your thing, Zach, because I think what you have going is something really really great, man. I really do. You know.
I appreciate it 100%. So, all right. So I know that Jeremy's been wanting me to ask y'all this question, and I know he's in the comments. He wants me to answer the question. When is the team's first tournament? Like, when y'all think y'all gonna be ready?
Where
I know y'all
it
said 6 months, but is
Yeah,
there like,
it's hit or miss right now. It's uncertain because as far as tournaments go, I mean, we might try to start small. I mean, I know he could say that. We're probably going to try to do maybe some locals and stuff like that. I know Jeremy and them are going to try to do some major tournaments.
mhm.
I don't know. That's something I was probably going to hit up Jeremy and kind of see what he thought because I know Dylan's the same way. Some of us, with us running practices and stuff like that.
what I'd like to do is I would like to get the team ready. Uh, I say 6 months.
Mhm.
Hell, it might be 4. But that being said, the more that we have quality practices, the sooner that's going to be.
Right.
And I'd love to invite Smoke out to practice. I love Caesar. Caesar's one of my favorite people on that team. Just a really good dude,
Oh
and
yeah.
Smoke is solid. I've watched a lot of their games. I met what was his name? Garrett, is that right?
Yeah, you saw Garrett
Yeah,
2 weekends ago,
yeah. Met Garrett 2 weekends ago. Real nice guy,
two or
good
three
shooter,
weekends ago,
real good
something like that.
shooter. And we want to practice tougher teams. You know,
Mhm.
and I am of the mind that it's okay and it's a good thing to get your shit kicked in.
Oh
Go
yeah.
out there and see because that allows you to adjust, to what kind of teams you're going to be playing. Whether
Right.
because you're going to move up from local, then you're going to move to USXBL, and then you're going to move to NXL. That's the natural progression of our sport, and we are on that dial. I mean, that's where we want to be in the next 3 years. We want to be playing USXBLs, big tournaments, and then we want to push Guerilla, out into the world. We want everybody in Louisiana to respect us, for
Mhm.
sure, and go, hey, man, those guys can play, And I think in paintball, that's about as good as it ever gets. Is hey, man, Guerilla, they can play.
Yeah,
That is
that's the kind of recognition you want, even in
right.
no just any type of tournament. When your guys show up and they go, oh shit, Gorilla's here, bro. Like
You know,
them dudes can ball.
we heard that
That
with
Right.
kind of
Voodoo.
thing. But
We heard that with Voodoo a lot. Damn, but I mean, Voodoo had 57 players on it. So when we showed up, we brought 4 squads to a tournament. So everybody loved to see us coming, because we're going to fill 4 slots in the tourney, and
Right.
that was a huge thing for us, you know.
God dang. Uh, 50. What the fuck? That how many?
yeah, it's
That
probably close to. I got a picture of us
damn.
for most of us. Well, I got a picture. I can tell you this. I got a picture of us just bringing 2 squads, and I know it was probably right over 20. It
Yeah,
was over. It was over 20 for sure with just 2 squads. I know that for sure. I got a picture of it on my
yeah.
Instagram
When
somewhere.
we
We were
filled,
in Texas ball. We were playing Texas.
yeah, but
Damn.
when we filled Justin's, when we went to play at Justin's, basically the guys, Jeremy, uh,
Yeah, it was all. It was
Caesar,
all.
it was
It was
all of
all.
those guys with us.
It was all destiny when we played. When
Yeah,
we
it was destiny. There you
played
go.
guerrilla warfare, in which Jeremy knows if he's watching, he knows we should have won at LAX. He knows. He knows that when we were all shooting together, we should have won that. We kind of got cheated. We kind of got cheated out of that.
Uh, but
Yeah.
that was the thing. The thing where everything shut down in the middle over at Guerrilla was that was a rough day, for me as a coach because we were doing very well in that tournament and
Mhm.
everything got stopped. But and then you know
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah. But that being said, you know we're trying to reinvigorate that now. So,
And I think y'all doing a phenomenal job, especially everybody in Baton Rouge, like
Yeah.
because it's hard, like it really is, because Baton Rouge is known as like LSU and baseball and like basketball and all that. It's not like when they think about paintball, they're like, oh, that's just a small sport. That's just
Yeah.
an offshoot.
Yeah.
like
You
put
talking about for kids?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's
it's
kind
like
of it's they don't
it's
think it
tough.
really is anything else. Yeah, it is. That's what I was saying, man. It's Louisiana balls. It's a hard sport to bring up in Louisiana than it is in Texas and you know Florida, California, hell, Colorado, all them places. I mean, it's
Oh
for
yeah, without
some
a doubt.
reason it's just not. It's I don't know why it's not as big as it is in other states, but it just isn't. And I do actually. Another thing that helped me with Guerilla was actually 2 years ago, and shout out to old Papa Dave Sears. Old Dave, he
Lord have mercy.
yeah, great hype man, by the way. Love him to death, super hype man. And he actually is one that was like, man, come out, come play Guerilla, come shoot with me, And then man, I went out there and I was like, man, I might start kicking the can again. So appreciate that, Dave.
No.
All right, so now I want you, if y'all got any questions for me, lay on me, put me on the hot seat, because I like to do that, because every once in a while, like I like to be on the hot seat.
All right. Well, if you could do, if you could do just one thing for paintball, do you think that what you're doing is the one thing?
Ooh. At first, it was like I was gonna play until get to pro, but now since I've been doing this podcast and like the whole content creation and all that, I guess you could
Right.
say it like that.
Yeah.
Um, actually, I think this, like if my knee or any part of my body shuts down, saying that okay, that's it,
Right.
you're done playing, I would have been okay. Yeah, like I would have been okay to fall back onto this and just work on this, like the podcast and everything, because
Absolutely.
this is the way to get the word out. And
I
you
agree.
know, I understand that some fields owners like Justin, Ryan, and Drew, they do these advertisements, but you pay money. Like you have to pay like a lot of money just to get the advertising out and all that, and then you know you're basically doing a losing bet. Like you're gambling to get business.
Right.
For me, I'm buying like 2 cases of paint, playing Saturdays and just filming for free. I don't get monetized for YouTube. I really don't, because there was some policy with YouTube that I think is complete bullshit. But it I do it for free because I'm trying to give them business. Like I want to give back to them, like make them to where they having bookings every single Saturdays, possibly Sundays. So
Well, I mean, uh, we have to say now, I have to say now that, after this podcast and doing this, that you are the voice of Louisiana paintball. Is that, you know, uh, I would take it like that,
Yeah, without a doubt.
you know, and that's a, that's something that we have sorely missed is like somebody on our side from our point of view. Because there's a lot of people that can talk about paintball, but if you haven't been in it, if you haven't played it and just been in the trenches with those guys and shot people for fun, and to do it over a long period of time and gain experience in it and know how, that's a big deal, man. It really
mhm.
is. You know,
Yep, and that's why you know, and when I was thinking about doing these videos and the podcast, I did not, I don't expect like how can I put this? I don't set myself for like, oh, I want to get 1,000 subscribers or something like that, which I do. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I want to shoot high. But
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But the thing I really want is to one day, I want to hear that phone call from either Drew, Ryan, or Justin saying, hey, we got like 6 people coming to my field. We have this because they are listening to the Paintball Lounge. They want to get into it because they heard from you. And that when that day comes, that to me will feel like I have won the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been doing this, Zach?
See, July of 2022 is when I started the first episode of the Paintball Lounge, and I did it with Drew Bankston.
Mm-hmm.
And
good first person interview.
oh yeah, Drew and I, like, that's like, if I can name anybody, if I ever get married, who would be my best, like, if there's a long list of best mans, Drew will be like the top 3 because he has helped me so much to, like, not just the sport but in podcasts and channel where he helped me very much of trying to get this up the way it can be.
Well, that's good,
And
man. Good for him. That's good.
Yeah. Well, Drew
I mean,
Bankston's a fantastic human being.
he was the one that allowed me to bring this back to the field, because this was supposed to be a tournament and
Right.
no one showed up, but he will let me do the beta, and I will probably bring this tournament, the 1v1 for the Paintball Lounge Championship belt, back up maybe one day.
Yeah.
But right now I want to, like, make sure that everybody, including the business, are like, they're good, and
Yeah.
knowing that they're good, and I'll be happy.
I got to somehow figure it out, but I got a cassette of me and Drew shooting against each other, and I got to figure out how to convert it, but I'll figure it out. It was a long time ago. When he only had just a speedball field. That's why I said I think back then he was either push or 13 back then. I want to say it was 13 because I think that's why he brought the name back.
Yeah.
It was 13.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It was C right and then when they after every call they'd go bangarang. They were all like Hook fans. It was
Lost Boys.
Yeah, the Lost
Oh
Boys.
God.
They were fun to watch.
Yeah, I like old Drew, man. I hadn't been to his field in a while, but I told him the next time I come, I'm gonna have to bring some cigars because I know he likes them and I like them, so I got to do it out of respect for my partner.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And he's doing the best he can. I mean, I know that things haven't been pretty.
Yeah.
But I know he's doing the best he can, and I have nothing but respect for him.
Me too. As far as I'm concerned, he's a phenomenal human being. I know every time I go out there, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, if I show up at LAX, I'm going to get a big hug, and he's going to try to give me a beer. And he's going to try to offer me barbecue. He is great at barbecue. He is great.
I miss his cooking. God, I miss his fucking cooking. Like, and my girlfriend, she still hasn't had Drew's cooking yet. She still hasn't ever, and I gotta take her to get her, like, they gotta practice. Yeah, we just talked about that, Jeremy, that Guerilla needs to practice at LAX one weekend, and
yeah, we will. I think the biggest thing that we're kind of concerned about is maybe reps.
Right.
I think that's the only thing we're concerned about. And hey, Jeremy, maybe I could be wrong, brother, but that's one of our biggest concerns right now. Because in paintball, you run a point and then these dudes that hang out for 30 minutes and then they go run another point, and then before you know it, you're there for 6 hours and you only ran 3 points. You know what I mean? I think that's the
Right.
only biggest concern. Like we're not downing it. Like I would love to go see Drew and them. I'd love to go hang out at LAX and go see some of the old guys and hang out with them and shoot. We're just worried about the reps is what we're mainly worried about.
And that's honestly, you got to get the fundamentals right. You got to get the fundamentals right before you throw your crew into the lion's den.
We're still sharpening the sword.
Well, yeah, and I like to push a pace. Like once we start practicing, and we haven't really done this yet, I haven't been able to fully commit to it, just because of the way that our practices have been going.
Mhm.
They're going well. It's just a lot of people, as you well know, tournament paintball pace is exceedingly different, especially X ball. And if you're not used to that pace, and if you don't get to a point where that pace is a normal, then when you go to a tournament, you're going to lose.
Yeah, you're gassed.
You're going to get gassed.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So that's what we're trying to do with the guys, especially this weekend. I'll have everything on timers. We're going to go. Another thing that I do is I coach the pits. I coach the pits. We've always had a really good pit crew with any team that we've had. Especially like, for instance, there's always a 6th player ready with a gun. Any time that the other guys the 5 go on the field, there's a 6th guy waiting with a gun ready that shoots. And it's little things like that the turnover in the pits, the cleaning in the pits, and the guys who are going to be back on that next box in the next 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is. You have to practice that as well as actually shooting. If your pits are shit, your team's going to be shit. I mean, it's just
you fall behind.
You fall behind quickly. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Fundamentals, snaps. I like to have my guys sharp on snaps. Because that's what this game's about. Like,
without a doubt.
If you can gunfight, you're okay. But right now we're working on snaps. Communication is probably the biggest one, and we're trying to get that fundamentally sound. And, so we're working on those things, but I am looking forward we're looking forward to being Guerilla and have other teams say, hey, Guerilla's coming to practice today. Let's have we know these guys have been practicing hard. Let's give them a good show, or let's beat them. I love that attitude, because you come to my field, I don't want to lose. I want to win.
No one want to lose.
Yeah, right. But I love a good fight. That's what I like. I love a good paintball fight. And during the US6BL, we had some really good fights with some really solid teams. And I enjoy that, especially a team that matches up well against you. That's really important, and I think once we get to that particular point, that's when we're going to start traveling to practice. But I invite any team to come to Guerilla to practice us. I'd love that. Anytime.
You would naturally, in all honesty, you over by us, you would get more reps just because there's not as many speedball teams over there right now.
Right.
But I mean that's.
Yeah, we have the run of the field at this moment.
Yeah, that's one of the major upsides of it right now. And I know as far as travel for them, it's kind of tough. And it is. It's even hard for me because I'm right at an hour from the field, and I mean shit, I'm driving 80, 90 miles an hour trying to get to the field, and it's still an hour for me, so I know that's a concern for some of them too. I know maybe LAX might be a little bit closer,
Well,
but
right. Well, that's why I say
you allowed us, so we'll allow you. Do you have any tough questions for us?
Well, yeah, I mean, so honestly, I'm gonna let you think of this one because I know there's a lot of them. But I got 2 questions as kind of like the same way, but one of them is this: what keeps y'all grinding? Like, what is it that you're grinding for?
That's a great question.
So what keeps us? So basically, what you're saying is like as far as grinding, like what keeps us coming back,
Yeah, like
basically
what you're striving to like
achieve,
achieve.
or
Like you want to grab it and you just want to hold it. And because I say it like that because it's you know it's mostly like a statement. Like everybody has to keep on grinding for something, whether it's a new job or a better life or winning. Like what is it that
I
makes
think
y'all?
I know uh, for he and I, it's the love of the game. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, that would probably be the first thing
it's
that
the
I
love of the game, but also I guess as far as a goal for him, is like I said earlier, for him to be like that dude's pro and I've coached him. You know what I mean? To have a pro player, you know, like you and I talked earlier, there was possibly a couple of chances that I could have done it. It just didn't happen. It just so happened it didn't work out for me because of work, because I work a lot. I work turnarounds and stuff like that. You know, when Hurricanes had their D2 tryouts, me and a bunch of my buddies, we made the team. And then when they wanted to start practicing more and stuff like this, I'm like, Drew, look, man. I mean, Stu, I told Stu, I was like, look, man, I love you to death. But, with me having turnarounds come up, I can't just be like, hey, I can't make this turnaround. I got a tournament coming up. It doesn't work that way. And
right.
I think that's one thing that maybe for him that he strives for is to have an actual pro player under his belt. For me, I can tell you as far as for me, one of my which it is my biggest regret is not being uh, a pro player. It just I had the opportunities probably, but
Mhm.
just work didn't allow it. And God bless them for the ones that are doing it, because I just don't know how. I don't know how they're doing it
I,
financially. I know it's a struggle for sure. It's just I never really. I don't know if it puts them in a financial bind. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I just know that if I did it, it would have put me in a financial bind.
Uh, I would say for me, and I can give you example. I can give you an example. Uh, we were at the armory, and Stewart asked me if I wanted to shoot against him, and we played race to 5, and he beat me by 1 point. And w- Stewart's not one of those guys.
mhm.
He took his mask off, and he was like, "Man, that was tough." And he was like, "Man, that was great." And Stewart smiled. He's got that infectious attitude, that
Oh my
smile.
god, that
You know,
smile.
and he comes over, gives me a big hug. But what he did next was probably one of the greatest compliments that I ever got from any paintball player. And he walks over to my kids, and they were kids. They looked up to Stewart. Of course, they look up to Stewart. He's an amazing person and paintball player, but he's an amazing person first.
Oh yeah, without a
And he
doubt.
walks over, and I'm behind him. We're both kind of talking to each other, and he looks at the kids, and he says, "You have a great coach." And like my heart melted, man. I mean, I'm almost welling up talking about it. And that's all I've ever wanted was recognition, and also for the team, whatever team that I was coaching, to want it and commit as much as I wanted it, as much as I was willing to do. As
Right.
much as give that. If you give that back to me, then there's nothing I can ask more, because you're doing everything that I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing is 100% balls to the wall all the time. And I'm an intense guy, and I'm pretty sure you're looking over at that side little bar and it's like, yeah, that dude's nuts. Yeah, and I can be, I
No,
can,
I
I
love
can,
it. Believe it or not, man. When you messaged me, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a good fucking show." Like
thank you,
I.
man.
The thing is, this like when I interview these people, like any person who comes on this show, and I say this with all the respect and the much love I have. Like when they come on the show, I see the passion that they have for this sport and just in life in general, that how much this changed their lives. Like moments like these,
Yeah,
or when you meet your get recognition, that is like what I love to hear.
yeah,
It's stories like that make will change everybody forever. And and that's why, that's why I love paintball so much. It's also because, the
yeah,
stories that we tell, it's so fucking amazing.
yeah,
It really is.
yeah. I actually, if we have time, I'd like to tell it. It's
Go
about.
ahead.
Remember, I talked about the kids,
Hmm.
and we were playing a really good team at USXBL. I had I had hit the. I have a temperature gauge that I
Hmm.
bring with me, and the temperature on the field, the turf was 160 degrees. Yeah, it was hot, and so we were trying to keep all of the kids hydrated, and they were all getting bloody noses. I mean, it was pretty rough for them. Well, we had uh, I don't know if you know Nathaniel Risen and tall. He's like 7'5", phenomenal paintball
Damn.
player. Yeah, he's a really tall guy.
I
He's
think
played.
I
He's played.
know. I think I know
Yeah,
who he is because
great
I
guy.
saw a really ass tall man playing the tower once, and I'm like, that son of a bitch is tall.
It's Nathaniel. It was Nathaniel. Yeah. Well, anyway, he had a brother, or has a brother named Tyler Dunn, and they were into it. And Tyler was about 2 feet tall.
Hmm.
Yeah, and his brother's 7 foot something. And so anyway, but Tyler had a mouth on him, like not scared of anything. So we're fixing to go out and we're fixing to play these guys, and we're all waiting kind of in the staging area to go on the field. And uh, this guy says, "Hey man," he's like, "Don't sleep on these kids. They could beat us." And he was like, and so Tyler's standing right there. I'm standing right there,
Hmm.
and he looks down at Tyler and says, "One day you guys are going to be great." And Tyler turns around and looks up at this guy. He looks up, literally. He has to look up. He's 2 feet tall, right?
Yeah,
And he,
no shit. I'll put it like this.
yeah.
Damn.
And he looks up at the guy. Well, he looks up at this other player, not Nathaniel. He looks up at
Hmm.
this guy from Texas and he goes, "We're great now." And he turns around and walks off, and we beat him by 1 point. And
Wow.
dude, there were people. Who was that? It was a it was a guy that owned part of it. I can't remember his name, but there were people lined up just to watch 11 and 12-year-old kids just mow. And I'm talking, actually, Brennan's brother Jelly and Ian, they they're we had 100% fill rate on the snake with those two players, and they
Hmm.
were 12 or 13 years old together. 100% fill rate. We never did not get in the snake. We got in the snake 100% of games, every game, and we did
Wow.
very well that
Yeah,
time.
that was one reason why as far as with when we were playing for Destiny,
Hmm.
I kind of came in towards the end of the Guerilla tournament,
Hmm.
and started shooting with them. And man, it was, as far as like he's saying, it was Ian, my brother Briar, and Adrian, and
Colin,
I had those three guys right there. As far as speed goes,
Shay
those
as
three
well.
guys were those three guys were phenomenal.
Yeah,
Like, and Colin would play D side, and I would either have Briar on D side or Ian, and I would have vice versa. I'd have Adrian, and I'd have either Adrian. Most of the time, I had Adrian and Ian
yeah.
on Snake side.
And then
And man, I mean,
Shay as well. Shay was in there too. Shay was
yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
mix. It was
we were so fast,
Yeah,
man,
that
so
was a
fast.
tough squad to beat. And actually, I didn't coach them for that. I coached.
Yeah,
I had two other squad. Yeah,
Jeremy coached us,
yeah.
and
I coached the
I
other two
mean,
squads that we had because they were younger.
we just kind of went out and man, we just did our thing, man.
But yeah,
Taylor was there too.
Yeah, speaking of Taylor, he said this in the comments. I'll bring it up on here because it's actually interesting.
But I love Taylor too, man. He's a good
Oh
dude. I
yeah,
love him.
it was actually at the King of the South at the Guerilla I was playing. I got really heated up, and it was Caesar and Taylor that told me, "Hey, it's okay, Zach. It's okay. It's okay." Because I got really heated up because of the fact that I won the 1v1 and like the refs there were like, I think it was Welcome Down. Some of them were from Welcome Down, and they said that I'm good, but apparently it was I was not good and it was a dirty hang. Um, so there was some confusion, and then they say, okay, yeah, that was a dirty hang. I'm like, okay, I got pissed off because I'm the one that hit the buzzer, and I was told that, hey, it was, you're good. It was rubbed. But then Taylor and Caesar, told me, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to get all heated up. It's all good. And because where I got heated up, I got heated up. All right. I'm hot headed. Yeah. But this is what Taylor did said. I'll show it right here if y'all can see it. It says Zach wants a nickname. So if y'all can think of one.
What's your last name, Zach?
It's Rush.
Okay.
But it's spelled differently.
Okay. You want the nickname?
They said Taylor said
to give Zach a nickname. All right, yeah. We're gonna have to think of one.
I'm thinking Rush St. Pierre, baby. That's a pretty good name if I ever.
Yes. That is a pretty fire name. Rush St. Pierre.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from though, Zach, with the dirty hang, man. Because Jeremy and Taylor, I mean, Adrian, they were all there, dude. It happened with me and my brother, man. My brother was we were playing D side. I was D2, he was D3, man. And a guy came down the tape, and as he came down the tape, I shot him, and he continued on, and he shot my brother. They never threw a flag, and the ref was on tape side by us. My brother called him and said, "Come check me." He shot me after I ran, and he said, "You're good." He said, "You're good, man. You're good."
Excuse me, Zach.
You're good. Go get some water or something.
He said, man, he said, "You're good." And I messed up because I should have went and hung it.
Mm-hmm.
I should have, but I was letting my brother do it. And he went and hit the buzzer after the ref told him he was good. And PG and them called him dirty. And I said, dude, you got to be shitting me. I said, your own ref called him good. Called him clean. So that's why he went and hung it. I said, well, here's the case. I said, if that's the case, I said, let's run the point back again. Well, one of the guys for their team, he said, oh, we're not running the point back again. We won that. I'm like, dude, we just ran it down y'all's throat. Y'all killed one of us. We shot all 5 of y'all, and there was 4 of us alive. I said, yeah, I guess you don't want to run it back. So anyhow, that caused us for first and second to play against the Bearcats.
Yeah,
we ended up getting third for the Guerilla.
Yeah, I mean, at the end we got second, but the thing is just that's still. I mean, I let it go, but it just kind of like to me, it's like if you're running a speedball event, get refs that actually like. Yeah. And I asked a ref like, "Hey, come check this. Like, come check this."
Yep.
Because,
I know next time what to do, for sure.
Yeah, it was just crazy. It was just a crazy time, and then, but no, everybody's now getting. Ever since Taylor asked that, like, I'm getting all odd comments like now saying what my nickname should be. Rush Hour. Oh my god, I'm not Speed.
Yeah,
I am not Speed.
You don't have to be. I was thinking of that too.
Crusher. Oh my god! Don't start with the names. Oh my god. Oh my god. So until you can ask Dylan this, but what is the biggest pet peeve that you believe in paintball history? Like the one thing that pisses you off?
As far as just in general,
Mhm.
um, the one thing that the one thing that pisses me off in general is when we have a practice and hardly nobody can show up.
Get words out of my mouth. Because if I'm going to be up there, I get up, I
Yeah.
plan.
If I'm an
Yeah.
hour away and I can leave my wife and I can leave my son early in the morning, then some of these other guys they should be able to make it.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes in for the passion and the love of the game.
And we put in a lot of work. Also.
Like there's a lot of times where I'll go to that field on a Friday. Last 3 times I could say I've gone on a Friday on my own time and went and helped cut the grass, went and laid out the field. Like we went and regridded the field again. We regridded it, put up the bunkers. I'm out there with Justin. He's cutting grass. I'm cutting grass. Cam and them are cutting. We're all cutting grass, weed eating, doing all that, trying to make it really nice and presentable for everybody and fun to play on. And, and that's my biggest pet peeve is that when we say, hey, guys, this is what we have going on. This is when we have practice, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, all right, cool. I'm going to be there. I'm going to make it, blah, blah, blah. And then, you got 4 or 5 guys that are not making it, but at the same time, I understand it right now. Excuse me. I understand it right now because during those times it was during the Omaha game, and I get that 100% because I come from baseball, so I get that, And then a few guys had vacations and stuff, which is cool. So my biggest pet peeve would be that, and that's if you absolutely if you're not out of town. If you don't have anything going on, that would be my biggest pet peeve.
Well, I think about it like this: is if I'm as dedicated as I am, not having anything to do with paintball, but to give you my time.
Right.
If I set us Zach, I probably made 200 phone calls this week.
God damn.
Easy. Because I'm trying to generate people for us to shoot at that aren't on the team, right? So I'm calling guys, and I've coached a lot of guys, and some people won't even call me back, and I find that a little disrespectful. I do because
I agree.
I don't want to have to chase you. I'm asking you to come be a part of something. I think 100%. As a coach, as somebody, I need bodies. That's a thing. And right now we're building, so anybody that fulfills a space that can shoot, that can practice, are highly valued, highly at all times. But I think that us, we talk constantly, every day, pretty much. And are like, hey, where are you at on this? What are we doing with this? And a lot of guys, all they have to do is show up and shoot. That's the easy part.
Right. Just show up. I mean, or just show up in general. You don't have to shoot.
Yeah.
You could just show up and do pits.
Right. You could show up in bullshit. I would love to see you. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if you're not shooting, just come learn the calls.
Yeah.
Learn to read fields.
And that's one thing that I say about practice. You never have to shoot at practice.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn at practice. If you, and don't get me wrong, we're going to shoot eventually because that's what the sport is about, of course. But if you missed, say, last weekend's practice was about our brake system. And most of the guys who have played with me or whatever, they know that I have a pretty decent brake system, and you know where you shoot. We run so many plays, and that is an integral part of our game because it's off the box. The most important seconds in the game is when you come off of that box, and if you don't know what you're doing after you get to your primary, that's a problem. It's a huge problem. So that 1 minute is what we train for. That 1 minute.
Seconds and inches, man.
Yep. Seconds and inches. I'd say that if I show up to a practice and I've made phone calls and done the legwork, I expect to get at least that much out of the players that are playing for me. You know, show up. You know,
Right.
do your job, because I've already done mine. I've already done my job, but
Right.
like right up to the point where I start coaching you, and if you're not there, then I mean, really, what's the point? This is a team sport. Not any one person can win this. It has to be team. You know, so yeah,
And I
I
agree
would say that
100%.
that pisses me off more than anything. Yeah,
I agree 100%. Like, if you're going to be committed to a team, you got to show it.
yeah,
And I mean, there are a couple of people that actually did call me and say, "Hey, would you like to, like, teach me?" And I'm not a pro. I can tell you straight up, I'm not a pro.
right.
But the thing is like this: if you want my time and you want me to show y'all just the basics, sure, I'll show you the basics, but you better show up.
Right.
And there was times that when I was running the aces and eights, guys would not show up, and that and they didn't even message me, and that really pisses me off. And
It's a
Danielle can,
terrible feeling, is what it is. It's
yeah,
a terrible feeling. It feels like a betrayal, really, because you you're taking time away from your family, and my wife, I work on the weekends with coaching, and she works during the week, so we have to make the time in between, and that's not an easy thing to do for any family, for anybody.
yeah,
I mean,
without a
schedules
doubt.
are tough.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
without a doubt. It's just that, like, let me know. Like, I'm an
right?
understanding
Let me
guy,
know.
and if you have like you got family and stuff like that, and that way you cannot make it to practice, or you cannot play this tournament because you got this going on, I'll be like this. Yeah, that's totally fine, man. Just let me know if anything else I could do. Like, and that was the problem. Like, no one let me know, and that's what kind of like, okay, you did not let me know, and yet you're posting saying that this and this and that, but you're in this city and you could have been practice or let me know.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's it's hard to be unaccountable for with Facebook and everything that we have nowadays. I mean, you almost know where people are at all the time.
yeah.
So that's even worse.
But yeah, without a doubt, and that was happening sometimes, and I was like, mm, like no. But so Caesar asks, BZ, you're still shooting the Geo 3.5?
I got two Geo 3.1s. Yeah, I'm still shooting those. Man, it's kind of hard to beat a dying breed, dude, I still have a Bob Long Mark 6 that I still rip. I still got a PM5 that I actually need to get refurbished. But yeah, still shooting the 3.1s, man. Hey, look, I would love to shoot something newer, but when paintball guns start costing more than my ARs and my 300 blackouts, and I kind of have an issue with that. And I've always, but I can tell you this though, man, I've always been a firm believer that it doesn't matter what you shoot, it's who's shooting it.
Yes, without a doubt. And I tell that to all rec players, or they always say because they get intimidated because they
Yeah,
see the black and blue CS3. I'm like,
yeah, it
you
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter because I can one ball it and
Yeah,
you could shoot me. And people
right,
rec ballers have shot at me
right,
when I was using the CS3.
right,
And I say, hey, you shoot me. And
right.
they're like static because, like, hey, I shot a guy who has his own gear.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
you did.
yeah. I mean, I don't have Caesar's money, so if I did, I'd probably be shooting an R5, bro. But it
No
just
one has Caesar's money.
it just ain't in the cards. I mean, if I could get on the same cartel as Caesar, that'd be great. Hit me up, bro. Slide me a little
uh,
something in there.
uh,
trust me, I wish I had another Planet Clips gun because I got a black and blue, and now I gotta get red and black, and I'm like,
Yeah,
ugh.
I've got a my 3.1s. I got a it's a light gold and a champagne, but the one I shoot in tournaments is actually the Warped Army 3.1. Yeah, it's a gem, man. I found one and I'll never get rid of it.
I wouldn't.
I'm not a Saints fan. I just always been a fan of baseball. I'm not a Saints fan, but it's got the Florida Lee on it. So, You know, it just represents, you know, home for
Right.
me, and I like it. And you know, some of the guys that I shot against that used to play for Warwick Army, and just for memorabilia for me, it's definitely a gem for me, big time.
Yeah.
Without
I
doubt.
will say this: it was one of the great honors that my players bestowed upon me. Uh, uh, Brennan was there, Chip Galliot, Pet Searcy. It was a bunch of them, and
Mhm.
we got together over at a little bar and grill over here. B was there, and it floored me. You know, I thought they were getting me a jersey,
Mhm.
and they ended up getting me a Samurai 1 of 25 LV1. LV1.
Yeah.
It's an LV1, and it's
So
mint.
Rising Sun.
It's the rising sun.
Yeah.
It's mint condition because that's always been my symbol is the rising sun. I've always enjoyed, you know, the martial arts karate.
We both have Diamond. We both have Iron Man DM3s too.
Yeah, I gave.
He gave me one of them.
Yeah, I had two, and I gave him one for his wedding when he got married.
Aw,
Yeah,
that is the
so
perfect gift.
And then I just gave him an all chrome LED Angel from like 2002.
yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful collection.
I
And
was saying, I'm like, you better keep
Yeah,
that to me.
it was a buddy of mine, man, a guy that used to play with us, Matt Trepanier, man. He had a gear bag that I had wanted for years, man. I wanted it for such a long time, and he actually moved out of state. And he said, "Man, you know that gear bag you've been wanting for like 20 years?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, come he's like, "You can have it, dude." He said, it's a contract killer bag." And he said, "Dude," he said, "Look," he said, "You can have whatever's in it too." He said, "I don't even know
Right.
what's in it." And ended up being a solid chrome like 2002 Angel. And I was like, "Dylan," I was like,
happy birthday.
it's yours, bro." I was like, "Add it to the collection, dude."
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna get Coon. I'm gonna get Coon to try to work on both of our DM3s, man, because I'd love to get them up and going again, man.
Yeah, after if I hopefully I do play World Cup this year. After I'm done with World Cup, I'm probably gonna take my CS3 because it is the black and blue or blue and black, however you want to say it, and get sent to ARC and get
Oh,
my logo.
anodized.
Yeah, get my logo on there and be like, this is the paintball lounge gun, 1 out of 1, never gonna be made again because I think Playing Eclipse is actually staying away from doing a lot of part swaps because a lot
Yeah,
of people like the red and black and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, and it's my gun. Like I've always loved the color blue and black or black and blue, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
I've always been like that kind of person, and I've always wanted to have a gun that is my gun. Like this is my baby. Like you touch it, you destroy it, I'm gonna break your neck.
That's how I am with my PM5, man.
Like I'm gonna break your fucking neck. But yeah, so all right, so we got a few minutes, because I know it's getting late and I know everybody's probably tired and got kids and everything. So we're gonna hit you all with the lightning questions, which is simple things like the gears you're running and stuff like that. Um, so let's go. What kind of mask are y'all rocking with?
I just bought a J2. Uh, I think because it's a good coaching mask, it's easy to breathe in. Uh,
I'm shooting out of a EVS.
but I have a grill and I have a V-Force. What's funny? Yeah, we can't see the comments.
So do y'all follow Lone Wolf Paintball?
I
I
on
know of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I know of
on
it.
Facebook I do.
So you heard
Why?
about the Crimson Mask, right? That they just announced.
No.
No.
So Tony did the video of him building a JT mask using the new JT colors, like the brimstone.
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 1. My girlfriend gives me a call. She said, "Have you checked Lone Wolf's page story?" No, I haven't. So I looked at it and said, "Thank you, Zach." And it's that mask that he just built. I just saw him building off of YouTube, and she got it for me. I'm like,
Wow.
I don't even wear JT, and I'm like, you
That's
son
great,
of a
though.
bitch, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and I'm not. she's a red and black person, and that this is our anniversary gift to me. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, girl?"
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so now I'm waiting for that mask to come in, and people are saying wear it. I'm like, I don't think I want to now because
Yeah.
it's one out of one. Never
Right.
gonna see it.
I think a lot of the guys on our team, I think that's what they're going to try to maybe lean towards. A lot of the guys are looking at the JT stuff, so that might be something that we might be rocking. We might be rocking a bunch of JT masks. Like I said, I use a EVS. I love my EVS, but I'm not opposed to anything. I've had so many different masks over the years.
Right.
And also sponsorship. Like if that will eventually become a thing. We'll start pushing for sponsorship. So
Right.
that it tends to happen. You know, we have to shoot or wear something or shoot a certain gun. You know, that's happened in the past. And we'll try, but I like to try to give the guys options. You know, like if they like wearing a certain, I don't care what they wear or what they shoot, as long as they show up to shoot it, I'm fine with it.
Our biggest thing is coming up with a logo right now. So
I know logos are really pain in the ass.
It is, man. Because we all have so many different ideas, you know, and they're all good ideas. You know, you just don't know which one to go with. So that's one issue that we're having as far as jerseys and stuff go right now. But
oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, logos, it's a fairly pain in the butt. I can relate to that 100% because everybody knows that I went through four logos until I get the right one, which is the current one. Right. And it's a pain in the butt. And jersey wise, I can tell you that the jerseys exploded. There's so many of them from different companies and everything.
Yeah.
But it all depends on which y'all more want. If y'all, personally, to me, what comes to me, I'd rather breathability, like because it gets really hot.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have something breathable than looking cool. And that's why this one. Then I got the other ones. This one is from Ugly Paintball. Very breathable. Then I got Zane from Zane Alley. His stuff. I get a lot of jerseys, but
I do too. I have a few.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. So what marker are y'all using?
Planet Eclipse.
Mostly.
Yeah, love it.
Probably PE. A lot of the guys are shooting. Probably all of them.
Most of them.
Probably all of them. Probably all of them are shooting PE.
Yeah, which is
because it's the best
reliable.
one.
I mean, you know, you can't go wrong with reliable. I don't care what it looks like as long as it shoots.
Exactly, but Planet Eclipse, come on, it's
They're so good. Yeah, and their customer service is phenomenal.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's a huge plus for me.
All right. Hopper and tank.
Oh man, I'm shooting. I like my Spire 4, dude. I like Spires. I do. I've never. Look, maybe I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky. I've never had an issue with my Spire. Like during practice, I shoot a Spire IR. Never had an issue with it. My Spire 4, never had an issue with it whatsoever. My tank, I actually just got a new tank. I got the HK. I got an HK tank with, I don't know, some fancy reg on it. Justin was like, dude, he's like, the reg costs more than the tank. And I was like, well, whatever, just rock it, dude. Let me get it because I need one anyway. Because all my other ones were kind of starting to go out of hydro. So I shoot like a 77, which I think a 77 is probably pretty much perfect for anyone, really.
I shoot at 80.
Yeah, and dude, I'm not even opposed to that because I would shoot at an 80 also because the weight difference between a 77 and an 80 is really not that much of a difference.
Oh no, without a doubt. I just like when I shoot it, where I'm shooting, I like the tank to be like a stop because I feel like I'm shooting like an actual AR.
Right. I like that's our, that's kind of the style that's kind of come up in the game is everybody used to be so close up here and now you're more further out, and it does help. Being further out does help with snapping without a doubt, man.
Yeah,
You can snap so much better when you're further out from your gun.
Right.
I mean, comparatively from the early 90s to the early 2000s to now, I mean, the ergonomics and the technology has just, I mean, it's about as good as it can get. I mean, to be
Mm-hmm.
really totally honest, I mean, they have some guns that talk to you when you turn them on now. I mean, so,
Yeah, Lux.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, man. As far as, with the hoppers go, I'm kind of for Spire, but I can't really speak for everyone else. I'm not really a fan of the die rotors. Just because I know when we played in Panama, it was so humid that day, and a buddy of mine, Blaine Monastery, he shoots with us. He had one. Um, Man, the paint it started to swell, and it wouldn't go through the feed neck. So, and I never had an issue now one time with my Spire because my feed neck on my Spire is actually a little bit bigger than what's on a die rotor, and mine fed completely fine.
Uh, as far as equipment goes, I don't shoot anymore. So if a kid needs a hopper or gun, I let them use mine. That's I don't let them use the uh, my LV, but normally I have a gun out there, or whatever, just as an extra for somebody to use because
Right.
that's really important. If somebody's gun goes down, for instance, when I was playing a lot of tournament paintball, I had 4 black DM4s, 4,
Damn.
and if one of them went down, I just picked the other one up, screwed the tank on, put the hot. I had 4 hoppers and 2 tanks, and I knew how to work on it, and so when I was playing, that was what I used. And 9 times out of 10, when we were playing, another guy's gun would go down, and I just hand him my gun. And that's kind of the way I've always been about guns in general. To me,
His favorite hopper is an egg hopper.
it actually is, man. I was one of my favorites. I love the egg. I love the
Hey,
egg.
I love the egg too. I mean, I remember the egg. I used to have one back, like, I think
I
that was
still
the
got
first
one.
hopper I actually hold, and
Yeah,
I was
new
like,
rotor X board.
Yeah.
oh god. I remember seeing the egg
Oh
like
god.
for the first time, and I was like, fuck, this thing is what the.
Dude, I literally just threw one away like 3 months ago because it was in my attic. It was so dry rotted and corroded. And
Damn.
I was like, oh my god. I didn't want to get rid of it, but I was like,
No
it's
one wants to get
done.
rid of
It
it.
was done for.
I mean, no one wants to get rid of their eggs. I mean, come on.
No, man. It's hard getting rid of some of that because of the memorabilia, man. It's
That's what they
tough.
need to have. It's a paintball museum, and it's
Yeah.
just like every person who has something, bring it to it, and that way, like these newcomers and
Yeah.
or anybody who wants to know about it, well, look, there
Man,
it
that's
is.
like my cousin Andrew, the one that I started with back in 2000, man. Super smart guy, very techy. I'd love to get him back on the field with me, just come hang out, even maybe help him coach. I got another buddy of ours, my brother's friend Mitchell. I want him to maybe try to come coach too. But my cousin Andrew, dude, he had an auto mag and an electronic. He had a spider as well, and he took an electronic frame spider and milled it to an auto mag. And
Son of a
so he basically
bitch.
had like a spider mag, and dude, he would shoot it at PBC, and that gun was awesome, dude. I hope he still has it till this day. It's just like you said, a museum of things would just be phenomenal.
Shoot. All right, I think that's all the time we got because I know it's late and y'all got kids and need to get some sleep because everybody gotta go work in the morning. I wish that this job was my job, but it's not.
Right. Like I said, man, keep plugging away, and hopefully maybe it'll turn in something big for you for sure.
Oh
Sincerely,
yeah,
Zach, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Man.
thanks for having us, brother.
We really appreciate
It was
it.
great.
Man. It was great.
hey, thank y'all for coming here. I mean, I think everybody who's on the chat they loving it. I loved it personally, and hopefully I'll see y'all on the field. Maybe you'll see me on Sunday. Maybe.
Can't wait.
Absolutely, man.
Can't wait.
So
Come
yeah,
on out, man. Love to have you. Take care, brother.
you too, man.
All right.
All right, brother.
Good night.
Later, man.
All right, y'all. That was BZ and Dylan Jones from Guerilla. Me almost broke the record. We almost did. Almost broke the record. But before we close off, I wanted to, say a few words. You know, these stories, they brought us together. Everything brings us together for a reason. And that's what people don't understand about paintball is that people like Dylan and BZ, and the whole community, we come together because, we love the sport, but it's also because of how much we we support each other because the vision that we try, every single time that we get on the field is to make Louisiana paintball or just the sport in general, great. Just so we could show everybody, like whether it comes to like football stars, baseball, celebrities, who knows? But knowing that they can see the sport and see how humble we really are, and knowing that hey, yeah, we may shoot guns, we may shooting people like we're shooting people with paint, but when we're not on the field and we're not doing that, we're very humble and we're very kind. So if y'all know anybody who are, very intimidated by the sport, just show them like, a day or two of how humble we can really be. And as well as this, guys, show them the paintball lounge, show them the stuff that I have done, you know, every single time I go on the field. So I want to give a shout out to Guerilla, Dylan, BZ, um, Pelican Paintball, LA Extreme, NOLA, Paintball Command, Team Smoke, all the teams, the Hurricanes, and everybody. Underdog Society. If you want your shirts, get from UXBL at the I Hate Paintball stand this weekend. Get yourself an Underdog Society shirt. They're really great. But I want to thank everybody who been watching the Paintball Lounge, who supported and understand the vision that we're trying to do. If also please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends and family. And let's make Louisiana paintball amazing. So I'll see y'all guys in the next video. I hope y'all have a good night. Peace.